I feel that when we put pressure on our daughters to be wives rather than to follow their hearts, to be who they want to be, and we don't educate our sons and our daughters as well, our sons on healthy and safe relationships, we just set our children up to fail. I will work 10 times harder. I will prove myself. I will keep banging on the door. The man that pays the dowry. So the women will be abused because I paid for you.
Oh. Welcome back to Breakthrough Moments with Sandy, the place where people share the real stories behind their biggest breakthrough. Every episode is a heart-to-heart about life, faith, business, grief, healing, and everything else in between. Nothing perfect, nothing polished, but just honest moments that have shaped who we are today. So I'm your host, Sandy Chino Gray, and I love creating a space where women feel seen, supported, and inspired to rise again. So grab yourself a cup of tea, cup of coffee, and let's dive into today's conversation. So today I'm joined by the amazing, the awesome Jacqueline McConnell. She's the founder of Project Salama. Jacqueline's story is one of resilience, courage, and choosing to keep going even after experiencing trauma, bullying, and racism within spaces that were meant to offer protection and support. Her lived experience didn't just change her, but it shaped her purpose. I'm so grateful to have her here to share her story, her lessons, and the heart behind the work that she does. So, welcome, Jacqueline. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me, Sandy.
Right. Okay. Jacqueline, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Who is Jacqueline McConnell?
Right.
What has
Jackie's a mum of 3. Also, one of my children has additional needs, which are quite profound. Well, not. And I'm also the founder of Project Salama. And I am an IDVA. I am peer support worker. I'm a mentor. I'm a training facilitator within the organization as well. So that would kind of sum me. I'm also a sister, an aunt, a cousin, a friend, hopefully. So in a nutshell, that's me.
awesome. Great, great, great. Okay. So looking back, Jacqueline, looking back at your life and what you have achieved and where you have come from, what has been one of the biggest challenges that you've had to face? And if you can also let us know how you managed to navigate through those hard times or through those challenges that you've had to face in your life.
Right. I think it would be 2. One is personal, and another one is not so much a challenge, but it is there, and it's on the professional side. In my personal life, I think I really was impacted by some of our cultural norms, which can actually be harmful practices to the girl child. I feel that when we put pressure on our daughters to be wives rather than to follow their hearts, to be who they want to be, and we don't educate our sons and our daughters as well, our sons on healthy and safe relationships, we just set our children up to fail. We set up the perfect petri dish for abusive marriages and relationships, and we then set up our daughters to stay within those relationships or those marriages. Again, slightly, this is not a very talked about thing, but due to honor, what will people say if you divorce?
Yeah.
What will people say? People don't look don't respect divorced women. I mean, we're even called as single moms within, culturally we're called mvana, because and I always say, you can label a woman, but you need to get to the bottom of what happened. You need to recognize that there is abuse or something behind her decision to walk away or to fight back or whatever she has chosen to do or chosen to heal herself. And for me, that that is my reason for setting up Project Salama, because I felt like no one understands us more than ourselves. And also, when I tried to reach out for help within services, I didn't get it. It wasn't culturally sensitive to me, or where my background, it didn't take into consideration that. It also didn't take into consideration the fact that some behaviors can continue even even after people have separated. It also didn't take into consideration the fact that supporting someone who's been through, for example, things like domestic abuse, sexual abuse, it's not just about, oh, we'll rehouse you, we will, you know, give sort out your benefits. It's also about the mental well-being and healing from the trauma. People are struggling mentally out there because services just think, okay, we've housed you, we've removed you from danger, we've helped you to set up your benefits. Okay, bye. So I thought with Project Salama, we can say, okay, you've been housed, you've got your benefits coming in, you've got everything coming in, but we have a drop-in session where you can come and get support. We offer like an open-ended support. You don't have to ever say, oh, I don't need your support anymore. You can step in and step out as you need us. Yeah. So because we recognize that the isolation, that makes it easy as well sometimes for a perpetrator to come back into your life. It makes it easier even for people connected to the perpetrator to come and talk to you, because you're isolated. So if anyone says, oh, hello, you're talking to them, you're inviting them over, and the next thing you're back in that situation again. So we felt that we would give survivors a safe space. Even when we're not doing the drop-in sessions, we offer time slots via Zoom where we can just say, okay, if you need us, if you need to talk, if you're struggling with anything, let's talk at this time. And we set up an appointment and we talk. When we can, when we've got space and time after our drop-in sessions, because I always like to have 2 support workers with the survivor at all times for safety purposes and other purposes. So where maybe after a drop-in session, a survivor still needs one-to-one, the 2 support workers can sit with the survivor and give them the correct one-to-one support that they need. So in a nutshell, yeah, I think I decided to turn my pain into my power and my purpose by starting Project Salama and trying to get in to the system to change things for survivors, and especially survivors as well from diverse communities where we sometimes feel like we're not being heard, we're not being taken seriously. And also we have, sometimes a strong Black woman trope where you're expected to just get on with it. So yeah.
You're definitely doing a great job. And I love the fact that you said it's an open
It's open-ended, yeah.
Open-ended, which means they can just come in and go out.
There's
And
no
just like
pressure.
there's no pressure, there's no time limit.
Yes.
They can always come in any other time that they feel unsafe, they come back.
Yeah.
Wow, I
And if
love
they
it. Sounds like
and because we do arts and crafts, sometimes we do cooking and things like that. So we do get a lot of people. They might now be in a good space, but they need that connecting with others that have been through what they've been through, that understand what they've been through. They also need that connection through doing things that that bring them joy, and taking something home. I made this, and taking something home. I cooked this is really amazing for them. So and it's also therapeutic. The amount of things that come out when people are painting, when people are
Yeah.
doing stuff, they talk.
Wow. So can I also say that it's a place that people can also learn a new skill? They can learn a new skill whilst connecting with other people and not be left out there by themselves and
Yeah,
vulnerable and open to more abuse.
yes, yeah,
Thank you. Thank you.
definitely. Yeah.
That is awesome. That is awesome. I'm gonna divert my question to regarding the professional side, regarding the
Mhm.
workplace and everything like that.
Right.
What kind of what kind of situations did you face in the workplace?
Initially, when we started, I think it felt very hostile. Um, and I'm not quite sure why sometimes people would feel that, because at the end of the day, just looking at the statistics, we're not even touching the surface of supporting survivors of abuse. We're not. There's space for everybody, and everyone comes in with something that is unique to them. And my thing is, rather than seeing someone as competition, you need to see them as collaboration. Like, oh, we can work together, we can do this. The more of us there are, the more we get to chip away at the system that says that it's okay to perpetuate abuse.
Mm-hmm.
So also sometimes when it comes to some situations like with funders, as black and brown women,
Mm-hmm.
experience tells us that we have to go in harder,
Mm-hmm.
because sometimes we are might get people to think, oh well, I'd rather give it to somebody else.
Yeah.
But it and then, but I've just decided that I will work 10 times harder. I will prove myself. I will keep banging on the door. You can either choose to be a victim or a victor. The choice is yours.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you can choose to be distracted or to focus, because at the end of the day, when we are distracted, the people that suffer the most are the survivors that are benefiting from our service. So I have honed in my focusing thing. I can struggle with something for 10 minutes and then I will be like, right, that's it. You know,
Mm. Mm.
which I'm quite grateful for, because I don't think I was ever like that. And
Mm-hmm.
we even get challenges sometimes with people that we work with, volunteers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
depending on their personalities, the situation can get a little bit
Tricky.
um, tricky and a little bit toxic. And my thing is, we're survivors supporting survivors.
Yeah.
Remember, as volunteers, that everybody around you has been through some sort of trauma. So when we keep continuing with these toxic behaviors of that other volunteers might feel a little bit bullied or intimidated, or this, or you know one volunteer might want the whole shine to be on themselves, or they might
Mm.
be gossiping, which is normal in every
Yeah.
workplace
Mm-hmm.
scenario. But because of what we do, we have to manage it adequately and effectively, and um, again remind people why we're doing it, and to focus, and that you can't support another survivor when you're failing to support the survivor that is working alongside you. So
Yeah.
I like to
Wow.
make sure that we have regular meetings so that we can highlight some
Yeah.
behavior, just remind each other to be
Mm-hmm.
kind to each other, rather than thinking, oh, you've lashed out at a colleague and you've made them feel some type of way, and then you walk off and you think, oh, I'm going to support somebody. It doesn't work like that. So my thing is, it starts with us,
Yeah.
with how we are to each other, before we can even take it out there. So I do try very much to encourage, you know, very healthy conflict resolution within the team. And so far, we're doing great.
Awesome. And whilst I was listening to you, I was thinking, could it also be a case of hurt people hurt people?
Yes, yes, hurt people do hurt people, um, especially if they don't get help. If you are coming into this kind of arena, into the Vogue sector, and you've not gotten help for yourself, you do hurt people. And to feel better about yourself, you feel that if I tear someone down, if I pull someone down, I'll feel better about myself. No, you won't. Possibly when you're at home and you're thinking about what you've done, you might actually start to feel worse. But then sometimes, because you haven't gotten the correct help, you don't know how then to address it in a healthy way. You might actually go back and you're worse. So you create more pain, more havoc, rather than actually. So what I also tend to do is, where we get free therapy, I do encourage our volunteers. I put their names down for it, because I understand that when people have gotten help and they're in a good space, they are even way better support workers than they are when they're not. You
Yeah.
can create issues and problems, and I'm a person that likes to figure out a healthy way to sort things out, to sit down and talk things through. I always feel like, especially where mediation is concerned, you might actually find that, oh, I got the wrong end of the stick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I do, even on our team, some of our trustees are trained in, how to do clinical supervisions and how to do mediations, team mediations. And that is one of the things, because we need to keep our team together. If our team is healthy,
Yeah.
we then do a really good job out there.
It's good to see and to hear that you're actually investing in those kind of things to making sure that people are trained, people are
Hmm.
getting the help that they need. Because
Yes.
at the end of the day, it's not just about having volunteers in their
No,
numbers, but it's
no.
making sure that you've got people who
Yeah.
are in the right space as well,
Yes,
you
yes.
know?
And it's also recognizing that you don't have to take every volunteer and you don't have to keep every volunteer. Sometimes you recognize that this one is doing more harm than good within the team. It's okay. You can go. Thank you so much for your hard work. Goodbye. Um, because when you retain people that are causing harm, it
Yeah.
creates such a negative work environment. There's some volunteers that we've worked with and that
Mhm.
have then gone on their way, and that when we discuss, they say, oh, I'm ready to come back. Some trustees will say no, because
Right.
they know the havoc that they created before, and we just feel like, okay, we're really grateful, but it's not, we don't want to go out there, creating so much trauma, because we are working with people that are re-traumatizing people. So
Mm.
yeah.
Wow. I never really knew that things
Mhm.
like this
Yeah.
could be happening out there, whereby people are in a space where they are supposed to be protected, and then there are other people who are
Mm.
supposed to be helping them and causing more and re traumatizing them again. Have there been cases whereby you offer the maybe the help, the counseling for people who are for volunteers who are not really who do need the help? And have you had cases whereby people can actually be in denial and say, "No, I'm good. I don't really need
No, no. We've got really lovely trustees and volunteers. We have an amazing team at the moment, a really strong, amazing team. And
it." Hmm.
I love that, even when I take them to the side and say, okay, maybe you could do this a little differently, they're open to it. They're like, thank you. I hadn't realized that. And when they realize that, oh, what Jackie says works, they actually say, you know what, thank you for that. I didn't know. And they're like, I want to work with you so that I can learn and pick up how you do things, because I've qualified as an IDVA. So we do things completely differently. Naturally, when I'm at home, my voice is loud and very animated. But when I'm in that space, my voice is very calm and very low and very soothing, because remember, survivors have been through trauma. Most of it was involving loud voices, screaming, the work. So my biggest thing as well for our volunteers is always modulate your voice. Do
You know,
not, yeah.
Jackie, sorry to interrupt you. You've just
Yeah.
taken some of the words out of my mouth. You have taken something that I was about to say.
Mm,
I was about to, because you mentioned that people accept the help you're offering them, and they appreciate the way you work with them and everything.
yeah.
And I was about to say, Jackie, could it be because of your approach? Could it be because of your soothing voice? I was about to say that, and then you, unfortunately, you said it before me, and I can
Mm,
actually agree because speaking to you I feel relaxed and everything, so I can actually understand and see the kind of approach that you might be putting
mm,
out there, and people are receiving it,
yeah.
and seeing how much it works. And
Mm.
yeah, great job, well done,
Thank you.
well done.
Yeah, my daughter will sometimes say at home, Mom, use your Project Salama voice. Because,
Oh my gosh.
because we're
Oh god.
Zimbabweans. We like to talk with our hands,
Mm,
and
yeah.
we're very. And she's like,
How
I'm right next to you. You do not have to be so
use
loud. Yeah,
yeah
but it's yeah because we're very
use your professional voice.
yes, please. So but this is because I with training you learn if you startle people with your voice, that's not what you
Mm,
want. Your voice needs to be very modulated. Even if you've got a high pitched voice, try to bring it down to be as calm
yeah.
as you possibly can, because you might find that the next time you speak to a survivor, they're going to say, oh, I don't want to talk to Jackie, I'd rather talk to Sandy,
Mm,
because Sandy's voice is, and they calm them. They remember
yeah,
survivors are on a knife edge at the moment. They've been through a lot, and the last thing we need is for them to just and then completely disengage from our service. Um,
that's right. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. That's an amazing, awesome approach. That's a great approach to this.
Yeah.
Without having to, my next question is, without having to name names or get personal with anyone, can you share with us one or two, if that is possible, if not, and I respect that,
Mhm.
can you share one or two situations or circumstances that you've had to deal with or dealing with in terms of the victims without being personal or naming names or anything like that?
I'll start with two cases. One currently I feel is a loss, and another is a win. And they're
Yeah.
both they fall under the Hague Abduction Convention, which I feel is a very archaic law that
Okay.
does punish survivors for fleeing abuse from another country back to their
Oh,
home country.
all right. Okay.
Um, I We supported a survivor who the husband did that to her and said, "Oh, we're going on holiday
Mm,
back home." And when they got there, he took the children's passports, and then he came back. And while he was back in the UK, told her that you're not coming back here. I want a
mm,
divorce. Yeah, and and she tried to get her children back. He wouldn't give the passport, so she came back on her own, and then we supported her and went to court, and she got the children, and she's reunited with her children and in a really good space now, and we talk occasionally. And then another case where that didn't that the same thing happened, and she
mm.
fled abuse from another country back here, and
Yeah.
the British courts told her she had to go back to the country where the perpetrator lives with their child.
Mm,
Mm. But the child is British born, has only been in that country for like 21 days, but by virtue of the fact that the dad managed to get the child dual citizenship.
Oh.
Yeah. So that one is currently one that just upsets me when I think about it, because I kind of take every situation really personally. And then we have some other cases of some serious post-separation abuse that we're currently supporting, and this is where I always remind people that with perpetrators, with abusers, trust me, it doesn't stop, and it comes in different forms. And I feel like sometimes perpetrators, they don't understand that what you're doing is actually abuse until a judge tells them. And it should never
Wow.
be that way. When you withhold um, maintenance, that is post separation abuse. When you uh, do things to your children knowing that this will hurt the mother, that is post separation abuse. When you go around creating a smear campaign, putting things on social media, talking about that person to smear their character, that is post separation abuse. When you are stalking, asking people about that person, what they're doing, trying to find out their personal details, their finances, everything, that is post separation abuse. There's
Oh,
so many things that people do not even realize that they're being abused. So many things. Even when someone is constantly taking you to court over contact, that is post separation abuse. When someone is withholding contact without any clear reasons why, that is also post separation abuse. There's so many things, and I just feel like we've normalized a lot of things, especially sometimes within our community. We've normalized a lot of things, that are really not normal. And it's only when you are supporting survivors in court and you find that sometimes the perpetrator is shocked when a judge is telling them, no, we don't operate that way. Because we had a situation where we supported a male survivor, and the ex was abusing him every time she saw him out with his new partner. Their relationship didn't work. It was marred with verbal abuse, emotional abuse, coercive control from the side of the female. And then he just decided, I can't deal with this. And he was one of the very first cases that we supported. And she then thought, right, you've dumped me, so I'm not going to let you see your. She let him see their son occasionally, but it was always with strings. You know how people can be. And when he moved on and started dating someone else, all hell broke loose. She would, verbally abuse both him and the new girlfriend. She would do all sorts of things. If her friend saw him out and told her 3 a.m., she'd be screaming obscenities down the phone at him, all kinds of things. Yeah, then she would withhold contact. So when he came to see us, he was actually with his girlfriend when we were just sitting somewhere with a friend of mine who was our trustee at the time. And we and I just said to him, well, we need to do a no molestation order, and we need to support you with a child arrangements order, because that will then stop, and that will say at this point you get to see your child, and she can't stop you, because by breaching that order she will be penalized by the courts. And we supported him in court, and she was shocked because she was telling the court that I don't want him to have our son because he's going to bring our son near his girlfriend. And the judge said, that is his son. He's the dad. He has the parental responsibility of deciding whether somebody is safe to be around his child or not, just as much as you. You cannot stop him from living his life by using the child to do that. And she was taken aback because she thought she could.
Oh,
Yeah. So the child
interesting.
arrangements order was put in place, and so was the no molestation order. And the next time we saw him, was like, yeah, things are going well. And she now knows that if she breaches it, she'll be in big trouble. So, and she could end up losing the child. So
Right.
sometimes, yeah, it's I feel like, and this is why we try as much as we can to raise as much awareness as we can, even in our chats, to talk to people, to put things on our social media so people know, they stay knowing that these, you can't do this to people. This is abuse. Like even the people that have come and are on COSs and they've brought dependents, and dependents sometimes are working, or the main person is working and one is refusing to pay all the bills, and people need to understand that that is financial abuse.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
People don't understand. They're just like, oh, it's difficult. No, he's an abuser, or
Mm.
she is an abuser. Yeah. So those are things that we just need to keep talking to people within our community about, so that they understand that some behaviors that we have normalized are really not normal, and they are.
Yeah.
You're committing a crime.
Mm.
So yeah.
And you're doing a great job, like putting it out there on your social media handles just to bring awareness.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, sometimes people can be
Mm.
in abusive situations and they've got no clue. It
Yeah.
looks normal.
Yeah. And
They haven't heard anyone say that it's abuse, so they
yeah,
don't know.
and culturally we've normalized it, haven't we? We've like, the father is the head of the house, he's the one that makes the final decision, or that kind of thing. And somebody
Mm.
could be financially abusing you really badly,
Mm.
but because he's the father of the house, we cannot question it, he has the final say. Yeah. And some men with abusive tendencies, or women with abusive tendencies, slide in there and start
Yeah.
to perpetuate abuse. So
And use that culture
yes.
to.
So we also have like sometimes online sessions, which we tend to put on our social media, where we invite people. We have Thursday thoughts with men, because we've had men also saying their side of things, and then we've had the women to women peer support sessions that we've also done online. And also it's women talking about their experiences in supporting and encouraging each other. So it's good because we have very diverse people from every background, white, British, black, African, South Asian,
Mm.
everyone comes. And what I've also realized is sometimes the African culture is very identical to the South Asian
Mm.
culture.
Right.
Just,
Can you
yeah,
expand on that?
just from talking to South Asians, although it's not, we have honor as well. With honor-based
Mhm.
abuse, and we have honor. It
Mm.
might present differently, but it is 100% there.
Mm.
We are very concerned with what will people say, and we would rather the girl child die in her
Mm.
husband's house, what we consider, than to come back home, because we feel like it's shame. We have shame, a lot of shaming within our cultures, shaming of women within the African culture and the South Asian culture. We have
Mm.
dowry abuse within the African culture, within the South Asian culture. The South Asian culture is quite different, because sometimes it's the woman that pays the dowry. So the woman can be abused, so they pay more. Whereas in the African culture,
Wow.
it's the man that pays the dowry. So the women will be abused because I paid for you.
Oh, right.
We have a lot. There's In the African culture, it's important to have a son. It's the same thing in the South
Mm.
Asian culture. There's so
Mm.
many things, even when I'm talking to some of my colleagues, some of our trustees were from South Asian background, and we're comparing notes. It's like, oh my gosh, this sounds like,
Even from the same.
yeah, very, very oppressive to women and girls, which is quite sad. And from the moment we're born, within the African culture, a girl is never really celebrated, is she? But if
Mm.
a boy is born, even in the African culture, if my brother is younger than me, I'm
Mm.
still expected to give him reverence and everything. But, I'm older than him. That's not taken into consideration. But what's taken into consideration is you're female, he's male. So you have to, you know, give him respect, Sababa, or as the father.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah. So, and those things are also very similar in the Asian culture. The boy child, even if he's the youngest, will rule over the older sisters.
Mm.
And I was like, oh, okay.
Interesting.
It sounds, if I close my eyes, it sounds like
Yeah, amongst your people.
Yes, I'm amongst my people. Yeah. And even again in the South Asian culture, sometimes you have the inheritance issues
Mm.
where when a brother dies, his brother wants to take over, but he has a wife. So if he has a wife who has daughters, they can just come in, just like in our culture. Sometimes people just come and take things. This belonged to my brother. This belonged to my son. This belonged to my, yeah. And sometimes they completely forget the children.
That is so
Yeah.
wrong.
Yeah.
Because you've had
So,
a husband and wife who've worked
yeah.
all their lives to build a
Worked.
future
Yeah.
for their children. They're not building
Mm,
a future for their
mm,
siblings, but their children.
yeah.
So what
So,
gives people the right to
yeah.
think that they can just take it all?
Mm. And that's where we're trying to go in and educate. We're trying to change things because I always laugh and say that our generation is now, now, we are
Hmm.
the
Yeah,
older, the elders, the aunties that people come to
the
with their
aunties, yeah.
issues. We
Mm,
need to be able, even if it's my brother, even if it's my son, I should
yeah,
stand in my truth. The only way we're going to kill abuse is by being
it's
open and honest about.
honest.
I'm going to be
That's
honest to
right.
my brother, honest to my son, to my sons, to
That's
say,
it.
this is wrong. What you're doing is wrong. We don't do things that way.
Mm, mm,
We're not going to sugarcoat it and tell women, no, Shingirira, be brave.
mm,
No,
mm.
we are
No,
going to call our sons, brothers,
a
fathers,
spade, a spade.
uncles, whoever they are, that you, at this point in time, you are abusing someone and this is
That's
wrong.
right.
Yeah. And if
Mm,
they want shelter away from you, I will support them and ensure that they get the shelter. It doesn't matter that I am your blood, but what I will not
mm.
tolerate is for you to stand there and abuse another
And
woman
abuse.
and expect me to turn a blind eye because I am your blood. I will actually put both eyes on you and say stop. So,
That's it.
and
That's
if
it.
we start that way, our generation, if we start by calling things out and saying to people, no, you do not behave this way, you do not treat people this way, healthy and safe relationships look this way, we can
Yeah.
change things. Yeah, we
Yeah.
can change
So
things.
it's
And if we shut down people that are very misogynistic within our culture, that always talk rubbish about women, we've shut down Andrew Tate. Why don't we shut down the personalities within our communities that completely, constantly always run women down, especially single mothers? A single mother was created by an abusive man
mm,
or a irresponsible man.
mm,
You have to think about those things. So,
that's right.
yeah.
And I like what you said about having to, be calling a spade when it comes to your own
Mm,
family members when they are being abusive, because
yeah.
that's like you're educating one person at a time. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Mhm.
You educate that person, that relative of yours, that whoever it is,
Yeah.
you're bringing awareness to them,
Mm, mm,
because I think when they get to hear it from someone else who's not their spouse,
yeah.
or the person that they were abusing,
Mm,
they might see it with different lenses, from different
yeah.
lenses.
Yeah.
So I
And
like that. And
it's also important when we welcome women into our families that they recognize that I'm in a safe space. I'm amongst safe people. I think we need to also speak to women because women, we are the ones, we uphold patriarchy. If women said no to some harmful practices as well, that we're
mm,
not going to take part in this, we're not going to do this to another woman, I believe that a lot of issues as well would be dealt with and taken care of. The problem as well is we're upholding patriarchy. We're the ones that are shaming other women. We're the ones that are
mm,
saying, well, you've come in as my daughter-in-law. Have you done my dishes? Have you washed my clothes? Have you done this?
mm.
I was about to say some not so nice words with that.
Oh my gosh.
No, these people, that's not what we're about because what we're now trying to do is
No,
perpetuate modern day slavery.
more
No,
abuse.
I'm not
Yeah,
I'm not your
yeah,
slave. I'm not your son's maid or slave either. We are a couple. We are
yeah.
partners. We're in a marriage. And
Partnership.
marriage, yeah, it should be your safe space. It should be your happy space. Marriage should not be
Hmm.
purgatory. It shouldn't be hell. Because
Absolutely.
yeah. And we should never encourage people to put up with how. Why?
No,
Yeah.
we
So
shouldn't for sure.
my brothers and sons they all know that, oh, okay, it's not that I'm taking a side, but I am standing for what I believe in. And I will not turn a blind eye to abusive tendencies. I won't.
Amen to that. Amen. We should stop taking we
Yes.
stop taking
Yeah.
a blind eye
Yeah.
to
And we should
abusive.
start encouraging our sons as well that your wife is not your maid. Your wife is your wife.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Where
help her,
you
you help
can
each
do
other.
something, help each other. Things will move.
Mm.
What your wife can do
Yeah,
in 3 hours, the two of you can do it in 1.5 hours. And
that's
then
right.
you get more time to do the nice things that you want to do as a couple. So,
That's right. Yeah.
yeah, it's about also teaching our children and making them understand that it's better to have a healthy and safe relationship than it is to have just a relationship
Then
where
just a
you're weighted on
relationship.
hand and foot by
Yeah.
somebody who's very unhappy,
Hmm.
So, yeah.
I love that you brought that up. And then another thing that I've really loved is the fact that you have not only created a space for women, but for men as well.
Yeah.
And we are seeing that the men are coming in.
Mm.
You know, I love that.
They
Because
are
at the end of
coming
the day, I
in.
think society just really looks out to just women, and then yet we've got men who are
Yeah.
suffering in silence.
Yes. They're suffering in silence, and they're not they're not having someone saying, even the ones that might feel that might say, oh, this is right. Those spaces give us an opportunity to say, no, it's not right. And to actually say to them that, no, isn't it better to have a wife that's happy, that's this, and you guys go on holidays and
Yeah,
do things together
yeah.
and all that. We get to have that space to talk to people, about just your general demeanor with your wife. Your wife
Hmm.
should never be scared of you. You should walk in the house and,
Absolutely.
like, I'm the father of this house. No, calm down. Walk in the house with
Hmm.
an aura that has love and that makes your wife or partner feel that you are their safe space. So, we're
That's right.
trying quite, you know,
Yeah.
we had our first Prince Tafadswa. I like his thought process. He said,
Hmm.
I don't want my extended family in my marriage.
Hmm.
Yeah, my marriage is between me and my wife. And if we encourage men to put those boundaries in from the word go, I'm telling you, I'm pretty sure a lot of marriages would be happy and would stand the test of time. Because again, like I said, sometimes women, we are the upholders of patriarchy. Patriarchy was created by men for men, and what
Hmm.
they've done is they've enlisted women
Hmm.
to
Listed women.
uphold it. Even when we get
Hmm.
FGM, who is doing the cutting? It's women.
Hmm.
Who's doing the pulling of the girl child in Zimbabwe? It's women. And
Hmm.
it's women from the father's side of the family.
Hmm.
So,
Wow.
yeah, those are things that we just need as women to constantly talk to each other, that when you see another woman, make sure that
Hmm.
you are, their biggest champion. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. But sometimes women can be, a woman can be your biggest
Pull each other down. We can be the worst
enemy.
cop. Yeah. We
Yeah.
can't, we should. And what we don't understand is we're already disadvantaged.
Hmm.
We're already disadvantaged in every way, whether it's medically, financially, we get paid less. We are already at an advantage. What we need to learn to do is come together so that we can push for us to eventually reach the same heights. At the end of the day, we're being left on our own to take care of our children. Why would I not want to be paid the same as a man?
Hmm.
If I'm the one taking care of my children, I want to be
Yeah.
able to do it without my children struggling or suffering. So why would I not push so that I can be paid the same, so that I can quietly look after my children in peace? You know? And
That's right.
yeah,
That's
so if we come together,
gender.
I feel like we can do great things. Yeah.
Absolutely, we can.
Yeah.
Yeah. Queens supporting queens.
We're queens supporting queens.
Uphold-
Yeah, yeah,
Uplifting each other. Yeah, that's
yes,
right. And not deliberately trying to hurt other women, another
yes.
woman out there,
Or
or
pull another woman down, or
yeah,
invalidate another woman's pain or experiences. No.
exactly.
Yeah, we need to
You
sit
don't
and
you don't
listen.
rise by crushing down
No,
someone
we don't.
else.
We don't. We rise by lifting others and each other. Yeah. So
That's right. Yeah, I love that. I love that. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much
that's all
for
right.
sharing your experiences, sharing um, your mission, the
Yes.
reason behind Project
Yeah.
Salama. Can you
Salama.
just
Yeah.
tell us, what does Salama mean? Is that
Do you know,
peace? What does it mean, Salama?
when I was going to start the organization, I wanted to call it Project Safe because for
Right.
me, safety in relationships is a big thing. If I don't feel safe, I'm gone. I
Mm.
will not stay. I will not engage because
Yep.
of my own trauma and things that I've suffered in the past. Feeling safe is a big, massive thing for me. So
Mm.
I wanted to register it as Project Safe. And then I was told that, oh, we already have a safe project. So that might
Mm.
confuse funders and people that want to work with you. So maybe pick another word. So I was in a meeting with somebody from Thames Valley Police and someone from
Mm.
Wokingham. It was Karen and Wendy at the time. And they suggested, well, why don't you pick the word safe in your own language and then call it Project.
Oh,
So when I went to look at Shona, it just wasn't clicking. So Swahili
is that
being the universal language of
Swahili? Yeah,
Africa,
I thought
that's what
so.
I picked. Yeah, and that's what it's for. And when I actually went and looked at it, it's actually
Mhm.
different, means different things in different languages.
So Salama
Swahili,
means peace, right?
it means safe. It also means peace
Safe.
and peace
Oh, so I
within.
was okay.
Yeah, it also means secure, security. People want to feel secure in their relationships, don't they? And it also means integrity in other.
Mm,
Yeah. So I thought, oh my gosh, this is the
yes.
one.
Okay.
This is it. Salama. Yeah.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
is a punch. That is
Yes.
powerful. Yeah, it
Yeah.
has a punch. I love it, and I love it, and I think you're leaving every bit of that word, the word salama, in the services that you're the help that you're giving to all these women. I think you are living up to that word.
Oh,
I think you're
thank you.
living up to that word. Yeah. So before we go, what's one thing that you wish people would understand about your story or about your industry?
That shame has to change sides. Stop
Mm.
shaming survivors. Stop shaming women. And shame the perpetrators of abuse. Shame the people who, the misogynists, the people who talk badly about women. The you
Mm.
know, stop shaming survivors and start shaming the abusers. That's what I would like to say. Because the reason why sometimes people don't come forward is the fear of being shamed and the fear that the perpetrator will not get dealt with, and then that hangs over your head within the community. People should shame the abusers and not the abused. And people should believe survivors, listen to them,
Mm.
validate them. If someone wants to talk, it is an honor because trust me, survivors don't just feel safe with just anyone. So if
Mm.
someone starts to say, here's my story,
Yeah.
listen to them, hear them, do
Mm.
not invalidate their experiences. Say to them, I hear you. You've gone through
Yeah.
this. I'm sorry and I'm grateful that you feel that I'm safe enough for you to open up to. So that's one of my biggest things as well. Stop saying, oh, but that can't be true. It's very nice.
Mm.
Because you've invalidated somebody when you said that. Your abuser is very nice to me, so no, that you can't be telling the truth. And survivors lose a lot of friends and family due to the invalidation, the pain of not being believed or adequately supported. So also as family, reach out to the services that do training, that run webinars, whatever. It is that you can to get the correct help in how to support a family member that's going through any form of abuse. A survivor is going to open up to friends and family before they come to us. So if you
That's it. Yeah.
shut them down while they're still with you, you've done them a huge disservice.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's right. So before we go, Jacqueline, if there's anyone in my audience right now who's currently going through abuse or any form of abuse, it could be financial, physical, mental, whatever, what advice can you give them today?
I would say reach out to any domestic abuse service near to you. Reach out even to us. We always organize, wherever you are, we'll organize a Zoom session and then we can talk to you about it. We can get a safety plan in place. We can do a risk assessment or whatever is needed for us to support. So I would encourage people, reach out, even if you don't actually do anything, because we don't force anybody to do anything. We are there to listen. We are there to support and to give, any support that you may need. We're also sometimes there for you to just process your thoughts before you make a move. And we are there to support you doing it and to make sure that when you make your move, you are safe and you remain safe. So I would encourage people, reach out and get support. So,
Thank you so much. And for
yeah.
those watching, where can they find you, Jacqueline, and how can they contact you?
Our charity number is on our website. It's also on all our social media handles. It's on Facebook, it's on Instagram. So you can either call us or you can text on the charity phone. If it's not safe for you to call, just send us a text. We'll text back and just say to you, let us know when it's safe for us to give you a call. So
Can you kindly give us the website and your social media handles, the name?
okay. Yeah, our social media handle on Facebook, it's Project Salama. On Instagram, it's project.salama. Our website is www.projectsalama.co.uk. And I can give you the landline and the charity line. So our landline is 01635 93588. And the mobile is 078 321 97512.
Thank you so much, Jacqueline. Thank you so much for sharing your
Most
story and
welcome.
for sharing the stories of the people that you have worked with. Thank you so much. And I'm sure some of the people in my audience will be inspired, and I'm sure some of them will reach out to see how they can get help from you or ask a few questions. So
Yes,
thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate.
no problem.
Really, really
Thanks for having me.
thank you. Thank you so much, above all, for your honesty. And your story is such a powerful reminder that healing is not about pretending
Mm.
that the pain didn't. It's not about. Sorry, that your story is such a powerful reminder that healing is not about pretending the pain didn't happen, but it's about choosing to keep living, keep asking for support, and
Yeah.
staying focused on the purpose the Most
Mm.
High has placed in our
Yeah.
lives. As you can see, Jacqueline chose to turn her pain into gain. She decided to start something purposeful. She went on a mission to help other women and men as well. So it's all about turning your pain into gain. And to everyone listening, I hope this conversation encouraged you to reach out for help. If you need the help, please feel free to reach out. Don't be afraid. Don't suffer in silence. Don't go through things by yourself. And remember, your why is worthy of holding on to, even when the journey feels heavy. Keep going. Don't stop. Don't give up. Keep moving.
Yeah.
So thank you for watching right to the end. If you've enjoyed this conversation, make sure to like this video, share it with a friend who needs to hear this. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss out on any of the conversations that we will be having on this channel. So for now, we are checking out, and do take care. Thank you for
Thank
watching.
you.
Bye
Okay.
bye.
Thank you. Thank you for
Bye.
having me. Bye.